For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brianna. Most of you watching this video probably do, because I would imagine that I'm going to start this journey by sharing it on Facebook. Again, for those of you who do know me, know that I've been going through a bit of a transformation process over the last decade, but very rapidly, I'd say over the last few months, 2 years, I guess ago, this kind of started increasing in its speed and intensity. And this past weekend, I had the opportunity to share a wonderful experience with some wonderful, beautiful people. And in all of this, I realized that it was time for me to start actually sharing those experiences with anyone who wants to listen and join me on this journey. Do I have any idea what, in the end, this is all going to be? Absolutely not. I just know that it's time for me to start talking. We all know I probably use my voice enough, but not for this, not in this capacity. So here we are. For those of you who might not understand, maybe haven't talked to me in a while, might think that I've gone completely off the deep end, which to some extent I have. I guess I can start by trying to briefly explain when I believe this awakening process started for me, and it was something that was very personal in college, a story that I'll probably tell in great detail later on at some point with you all. But essentially it started as an understanding that I was depressed, that a lot of the people in my life at that time were operating in a similar mindset, with similar mentality and actions, and we were kind of like sucking each other down into the pits of I don't even know what, but it was terrible. And I think that was kind of like my personal point of rock bottom. I was sometime around the age of maybe 20, 21, 22 when all of this happened. But anyway, like I said, I will save that story for another day. But I, at that point, became self-aware of my actions and my thought patterns and how they were affecting my depression. I became fairly, vocal about my struggle with depression, at least to those that were around me, and it was something that I was kind of passionate about for a little while. And looking back on it, I wish I had actually shared those stories at that time with the world, and I didn't. So I'm going to make sure I don't make that mistake again. But that self-awareness in dealing with those mental health issues that I had been experiencing led me ultimately to, somewhere down the line, led me to cleaner eating. And I've been a vegetarian since I was 15, but I ate like crap until the time that I was probably about, honestly, 27, 28 was when I really started to get my act together. But a couple years before that, I started shifting things in the right direction. And after I started shifting those things, I noticed that just by what I was putting into my body, I was getting much better output. That led to me kind of attracting a different group of friends. Certain people fell off, and it was, this was a very slow transformation over many years with lots of ups and downs. But that all eventually led me into a group of people that really opened my eyes to yoga and meditation and all of the beautiful things that come along with getting to know yourself and the existence that's around us. Me getting very excited about everything. I've really spent the last 5 years jumping all around. I have gone very deeply down conspiracy roads, which I'm sure we will talk about at some point in the future. I've gone down different religious paths, not necessarily, practicing those, but researching and reading and yoga and, again, meditation, researching different techniques and I guess I didn't jump into all this spiritual stuff early on. It was more self-help oriented in the beginning. I read a lot of psychology books and was kind of thinking about life from a brain chemistry standpoint. But it all ties in together. So the point of the ramble being that chain of events, over the last the last 3-4 years that I've really been diving into this deeply, at least into the spiritual side of things, I have understood that it's my intention here on this earth is to spread as much love and light as I possibly can, and get other people to understand how getting to know myself and the world for what it truly is really, like, it just helps everything fall into place, and it makes it so much easier to deal with life. I have a lot of friends right now that are struggling around me, and it's been hard for me to show them the way, because it took me so long to get here, yet it seems so easy. So I'm actually hoping that some of the conversations, these one-way conversations here, are going to help me work through some of that as well. And hopefully they watch and maybe get something out of it for them too. So again, this personal journey has led me to really exploring the spiritual side of things, the existence side of things, and from a science standpoint too. I haven't really discussed much of that, but I always grew up a lover of science, and if you're a true scientist, then you always question the science and facts at hand. So I like questioning. I like following physicists and scientists that do question. So that's another a big part of all of this that really brings back a lot of excitement from my childhood. And that's what this is. This awakening journey has been returning to the child that knew how to be, and the child that I kind of forgot about, and letting that child come out in my life, my career. It's allowing things to blossom for me in a way that I never thought was possible. And this past weekend, so I guess about 2 years ago, I think I said this already, but that was when I realized that I needed to do more work in the area of spreading love and light. And I think if you asked me then, I would tell you that I was going to become get my yoga certification and start doing maybe some blogging and writing, and eventually motivational speaking and meditation, groups, leading meditation and yoga groups and things like that. That was kind of where I saw myself. Well, a few weeks ago, I was presented an opportunity through a friend, thank you, Sarah, very, very much, to join a Reiki training class. And I was also able to invite my best friend along, Jessie, I love you, my soul sister, in this experience. So over this past weekend, Sarah and her best friend Anne-Marie and Jessie and I trained with this beautiful soul named Amy, and we had the most magical, truly, truly magical of weekends. And it didn't necessarily open my eyes to anything new, because I knew all of this wonderful energy was out there. I had actually thought about getting trained in Reiki for probably the last 2 years. Another one of the many excitable things that I've done. I can't even believe in all of that I've talked about already. I haven't even once mentioned my, crystal collection that could probably be considered borderline insane. But all of this past weekend just kind of brought all of that together, and it brought this into my life in a daily way now, that is very beautiful to me. And I recognize 24 hours after the class is over, I probably shouldn't be writing anything in stone, but this definitely feels like something that's going to be sticking with me for a daily basis for a while. I'm the kind of person that thinks about something, think about it for a really long time, not necessarily contemplating it, more so just not finding the time to do it. Maybe in the case of jumping from vegetarian to vegan, the willpower to do it. But this is like, Reiki is something that doesn't really, it doesn't take any willpower, so that's good. It's not too hard of a challenge. It does take a commitment, but it's a commitment to myself that I really need to make. And what I found so beautiful about the experience was that I enjoyed giving this energy, this love, far more than I did receiving it. And receiving it is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I think sometimes we all can be a little selfish, and I know that I personally can be a little selfish, and it just felt so good to feel so good to make someone else feel so good. And I'm going to get more. We'll probably do another thing on Reiki, because I rambled for 10 minutes before I even got to that. So I'll probably do another video on that later on down the line. But this was just kind of my intro video to say, hey guys, I am here. I've spent the last decade finding my way to a path of leading a life full of love and light and good vibes and good energy and good people, and yet the great things that really truly do come along with all of that when you choose to step into that light and live in that light and carry that energy with you everywhere. It is all about energy. That's the most basic of things that we all can understand, because you can feel it when someone is upset. You can feel it when someone is sad, and those things have a scientific connection. They have a spiritual connection, and this world is a fascinating place, and I just can't wait to share my journey with you, and I hope we get to learn some really cool things along the way. So, hi, I'm Brianna. Thanks for listening. I'll see you soon.